Welcome to the winter edition of the Young Marine News Network 2022 here at the National Cemetery of the Pacific, also known as the Punch Bowl, where we just completed our morning Pearl Harbor Remembrance ceremony. It's been an awesome few days here on island. You know, everyone got in Thursday. It was late, but first thing in the morning we were up early and we hit the beaches of Marine Corps Air Station Kaneohe Bay. We assembled and got an outstanding brief by Mr. Dane, who is the biological service technician for the base, who explained to the young Marines about the flora, the fauna, the wildlife, everything on the base and how it interacts as an ecosystem and why it's important for us to take care of that ecosystem by cleaning it up. And we also made the point that just like an ecosystem, your body's an ecosystem. Keeping it clean helps it perform at its best level ever, just the way we wanted to leave the beaches of Kaneohe.
Absolutely.
But I will tell you, I was out there stumbling about smartly. Young Marine Sergeant Major Glasscox, though, was in the thick of it with the young Marines.
Aloha, Young Marines, and welcome to Hawaii. My name is Young Marine Sergeant Major Glasscox, your National Young Marine of the Year, and I am here at the Marine Corps Base Hawaii with young Marines from across the country working on a little bit of community service. Now, as far as our program goes, community service is a huge aspect of what we do. We're always looking back to give back to our communities, but especially here in Hawaii, cleaning up the beaches, cleaning up all these microplastics, making sure that we preserve the wildlife that is so unique and indigenous to Hawaii. It was a great experience and can't wait to come back and do it again.
And it was really good. And we got done with the cleanup and we're having our little bit of beach luau. Thank you so much to Pyramid Rock Young Marines. Pyramid Rock Young Marines every year helps us out at this beach cleanup.
Absolutely.
Couldn't do it without them, but it was great. Right in the middle of that, we get the call. Mr. Dane, he needed help. So Young Marine Sergeant Major Glasscox and some other senior young Marines sprung into action, went down the beach about a half mile, off into the dunes.
Absolutely.
And
sir, we were getting to work, and it wasn't easy work either. We had net that came from the sea, offloaded from ships or however it got there, but it washed on the shore and got buried under all of the sand. So for about an hour and a half, there's a group of 8, 9, or 10 of us that were out there cutting the net up, unburying it, loading it onto one of those four-wheel driving cars.
Got their little ATV out there.
ATVs, that's what it is. And loading it up on there and taking it out to a truck so it can be offloaded.
we were fascinated to find out it really is. It's the fishing gear that makes up the majority of the trash that washes the beaches. And that fishing gear, that netting, is what's so dangerous for the turtles and the birds and other wildlife that live on the base. So that was a great activity, I gotta say.
Absolutely.
But we had a chance to reset, recoup.
Absolutely.
And then we went to the Pacific Aviation Museum Gala at Ford Island. An awesome opportunity to interact with a lot of veterans for a great cause, preserving a piece of history there on the island, one of the original hangars that was attacked on December 7th. Young Marines, Pyramid Rock, and other units supported that event from when you showed up to when you got your seat. And it was just a great opportunity. And we even met our guest speaker for today's Remembrance ceremony at the Punch Bowl, Mr. Don Graves. I mean, that was the first time you got to go. I mean, what did you think about all that?
It was an amazing event, and like the Colonel said, absolutely beautiful. But what I notice is a trend with our program. Everywhere we go, we're helping out our community. Our young Marines on the ground there doing everything they can, from being outside and welcoming visitors to coming inside, ushering people around to their seats and helping them get around, just doing that little bit that we can to help the gala. But absolutely gorgeous. The history of being there, seeing the World War II veterans, learning their stories, seeing all of the paintings and all of the different art. It was just a great experience.
It truly was.
So rolling into Monday, the young Marines had a great hike on the Marine Corps base in Hawaii called Sniper Hill. Now it's about a 1.5 mile hike total, and it's a little challenging, but it was a great time. Took around 70 young Marines, couple adult volunteers up there as well, but the views were absolutely gorgeous. You could see off in the distance once you were up there, the rain that was falling over the ocean, just absolutely gorgeous experience.
And again, cameras don't do it justice. It was beautiful, and we escaped just before the real rain hit.
Absolutely.
I think we got our final count. Just after our final count is when it rained,
outran.
and it rained, and it rained. But not as bad as last year, and only on the Marine Corps base. But what a great event. Big shout out to the Marine Wing Communications Squadron team for helping get us up the mountain, taking care of us, keeping us safe, but letting us have that opportunity to see the ocean and to see the base from a unique perspective. And the reason it's called Sniper Hill, is because that's where the Marine Corps snipers train. It actually is part of the rifle range at that base, which was sitting down below us, way down below, but we couldn't see it because we stayed away from the edge.
Hey, what a beautiful day and what a beautiful setting for this event here. As most of you know, as the Colonel said, these young Marines travel from all over the U.S. to be here today and hosted by the young Marines that's on the island. And what a great host it has been. Thank you very Pyramid Rock. Thank you so much. If you go up the little trail here on the right side here, you will see a monument up there that belongs to the young Marines. I have to tell you, that is the only monument laid here by a youth organization. That just gives you an idea of what these young Marines do around the world and do each and every day.
Understanding what transpired. While many people in the area know this story because they live here, many people right in front of us know this story because they were here. The vast majority of our American youth do not know, and they cannot put it in context because they have not been here. And so the opportunity to bring young Marines from around the country, with the help of all these adult volunteers and people across the country that donated, fundraised to help us do this, allows these American youth, these young men and women, to come here, to understand Pearl Harbor, to understand the attack on our country, to understand the response, to rise above the ruins, to go out, seize victory, seize liberty, not just for our country, but for the entire world as we work through the Pacific and across Europe to help secure freedom and democracy for other people. In 1942, at 17 years of age, this sounds familiar, Don dropped out of high school to join the Marine Corps, to serve his country, help in the support of freedom. And somehow or another, he'll probably tell us, he went to Camp Pendleton and trained as a flamethrower. Dangerous, dangerous duty. Joined the ranks of the 5th Marine Division, his first mission, Iwo Jima. We were blessed to go there and understand it, he'll tell you. But his orders were, go over the top, turn left, take Suripachi. Simple mission, massively executed with success. So with the 2nd Battalion, that's what he did. And they made their way aboard and took Suripachi. But as with many stories of veterans, that short period of time, that heroism and sacrifice was all part of service. And as a service, he continued when he came home to serve in the ministry. And I think that's what's so amazing is when you talk to these veterans, it's about service at the end of the day, and they continue to serve. So ladies and gentlemen, with great excitement, I welcome Mr. Don Graves to the microphone, sir.
Once a Marine, always a Marine. Hoorah! Hoorah! What? Hoorah! Thank you. What can I say? I stood over there before the monument of the flag raising over at the base. Tears came to my eyes. I looked at it. I have been to Arlington. We had a ceremony there. Some of you have been there. I believe that flag raising statue that you have at the base is far greater than the one that's in Arlington. It's alive. And I stood there at the base, and I could name my buddies there. I looked at him. Ira Hayes, Pima Indian. He and I did Liberty together. He was on the backside, reaching way down. That flag says a whole lot. But let me tell you something, folks. That was never in the battle. We knew nothing about a flag. Nothing. And then suddenly, my battalion commander, Chandler Johnson, he was killed with 105 short round of our own. Before that happened, he called Lieutenant Schreier over. We were at the base fighting our way up Mount Suribachi. They were lobbing hand grenades down. They just bounced down. We couldn't return fire. We couldn't return our hand grenades. They would bounce back at us. We just fought our way up the best we could. When we got up to the top, there it is. They're raising it up. We stood there by the flag. Tears running down our face. We never thought we'd ever see something like that. Out in the bay, 500 Navy ships let go with flares. Everything they could to make noise. It was a spectacle. Our boys who were fighting towards the north, they let go with tracers. it was a jubilee. We put our flag on Japanese soil for the first time in history, and the United States Marine Corps did it. Folks out there, I want to tell you something. Take a good look at the future America, and they're the ones that are going to be in charge. They're going to defend our country. They are responsible now. You want to give them another applause? Give it to them. This has been a great opportunity, and I thank all of you. I will never forget this. This is the greatest time I've ever had the last few days.
Gentlemen, again, we cannot thank enough our veterans, our guests here that have joined us today, and for all the rest of our program that are here with us that made this support happen. And a huge thanks once again to the National Cemetery of the Pacific, to the team here that supports us just in time, from nothing to something, and here we are having a wonderful ceremony once again this year for educating, learning, reflecting, and remembering all that went on in this area as just part of one of these many events that we do while we're here. Since we last left the Young Marine News Network, though, we've had all sorts of activity around the country, but a big element of our program, drug demand reduction, and Red Ribbon Week being the focus point for the year. Don't get me wrong, we do drug demand reduction all year, but during Red Ribbon Week, we really emphasize drug demand reduction and getting out into local communities to spread the word all around. I was very excited this year to kick off drug demand reduction education and Red Ribbon Week with the award of the 12th Fulcrum Shield Award to our program, and it went to Guadalupe Valley Young Marines. Miss Dillon and her team did a wonderful job and got to be recognized at a special Pentagon ceremony for their work in Red Ribbon Week last year. But you know, it's even better when our young Marines tell you about Red Ribbon Week activities, and I'm joined by one of your public affairs correspondents, Young Marine Master Sergeant Isabel Benson.
Thank you, sir. So, Young Marines, as you all know by now, drug demand reduction is a huge and one of the 3 major components in the Young Marines program today. With that being said, the DDR Dash is a great way to show that. It shows that
Oh look, dashing through the snow with a guest visitor today. But that's okay, because it is true. The DDR Dash was a great event, and we're happy to have a guest host come by, keeping that healthy, drug-free lifestyle.
Yes, sir.
You know, here at Quantico, where we ran with the national headquarters, several units around the area ran the DDR Dash. Probably the best weather we've had in some time. But I will say, you're up in the great mid-north.
Yes, sir.
Your DDR Dash was probably not as comfortable. How was your weather this year?
It was a little rainy, a little slippery, but you know, that kind of feels nice when you're going for a nice little jog. It really helps Young Marines there.
It was outstanding. I got to tell you, we get to see it every year. You see it as a public affairs correspondent, from the beach to the mountains, down to Louisiana where they were hot and sweaty and humid like they were in Florida. You're up there cold and rainy,
yes,
but we got lucky. Last year we were cold and rainy, but that is a great event. And my favorite part about the DDR Dash, Young Marines came up with that idea, and we were just lucky to run with it.
So the Forge, I was actually able to be the first sergeant for that event, so I can give you all the little details for that.
That's perfect.
So the Forge is a semi-annual event that Division 5 has started hosting. This event, units from across Division 5 are putting together teams of 4, and those teams of 4 get to come together for a weekend and compete head-to-head in competitions that focus a lot on the core aspects of the Young Marines program. They take a DDR test, they do COD, they do color guards, knot tying, they do survival skills, and they do all of this over the course of a short weekend. And in the end, one team is named the Forge Master.
The Forge Master.
Yes, sir.
Hoorah. I like the sound of that. Well, thanks so much for that live report.
course.
Appreciate you coming out, and thanks for all your work behind the camera with
Yes,
all
sir.
the other packs here. There were quite a few camps around the country, different divisions and locations on top of leadership schools throughout the very end days of the summer. But I got to tell you, your Young Marine Sergeant Major was out there. He was working the left coast hard. Over on Division 6, had not just 1, but 2 division camps up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and down at Camp Morningstar in Southern California. You were live and on the scene?
Yes, sir.
Tell us all about it.
Absolutely. So first up, I had that Idaho encampment. There's about 70 young Marines from all over Division 6, and that was an amazing event. I mean, first of all, we were on a crystal clear lake.
Oh, it's beautiful up there.
Beautiful beaches, beautiful mountains. It's the best of both worlds, really. Up in the mountains, getting amazing hikes every day. Got a little bit of archery in, did a little bit of fishing. Of course, we swam in those beautiful lakes.
Outstanding.
Having an absolutely great time. Going straight from there, only a week later, into the next camp, Camp Morningstar, where we had about 200 young Marines there.
Oh, yeah.
Which was like an NLA, the National Leadership Academy sized event. Like that was a lot of young Marines, and I was extremely excited to be there. I mean, ages all the way from 8 to 18, getting to mingle with all the young Marines and having some great time. Played some basketball, did some more archery.
Hey, I understand. Didn't you have a special guest come in and play hoops with you for a little while?
We did have a special guest,
Oh,
sir.
yeah. Every once in a while, we let the chairman of the board out of headquarters to go out and interact with the young Marines. The problem is I got to watch him because, like me, he goes out and wants to interact too much, and then it's Motrin time.
Well, I think I might have had a hand in that.
You might have had a hand in that?
I convinced him to come out to the court, shoot a couple hoops with us, but obviously it was a great time.
He's a great athlete, and he loves getting out with the young Marines just like I do. So that was awesome that you had him out there.
Yes,
and
sir.
I can't say enough about how beautiful Coeur d'Alene is. I'm so
Absolutely.
glad they were able to do that up there for Division 6.
Absolutely. Hello, young Marines, and welcome to Camp Morningstar, California. I'm here in Division 6 for the Division 6 California encampment. I am so excited to be here with young Marines from all across the division. We have almost 190 young Marines here with us, which is an outstanding number for this 3-day encampment. The young Marines are having a great time. Behind me, you can see all the festival, all the festivities, and all the activities that we're having. Right now, we're basically having like a 90s themed party. We have like a festival setting, events happening all around us, and tonight is whenever we kick it off. I'm gonna be your MC, Young Marine Star Major Glasscock, your National Young Marine of the Year, kicking off with a bunch of young Marines, singing, dancing, having a great time. Wish you were here. If you weren't, if you are, you know what's up. Great to hear from you, young Marines. Great to see you. Until next time.
You know, the cornerstones of our program are leadership, citizenship, and a healthy drug-free lifestyle. And a lot of our citizenship is focused on our nation's veterans. It's why we're here for Pearl Harbor for the week, for the veterans and to remember what happened there. Veterans Day is a huge event for the young Marines coming right after our young Marine birthday. And so we'd like to just roll a few pictures of some of the great Veterans Day support events across the country that all of our young Marine units supported.
I'm here with Young Marine Private Barbara from the San Bernardino Valley Young Marines. As a Young Marine, why is it important for you to honor Veterans Day, and why is it important to you?
This Veterans Day is important to me because it gives us this freedom that we have in our country today, and I have family that have served in the military, so it's really cool to attend this event and get to see other people that have served for our country.
Outstanding. Thank you for your time, Young Marine Private.
Thank you.
I'm here with Young Marine Lance Corporal today from the East Valley, California Young Marines. Young Marine Lance Corporal, did you have a good time at this event?
Yes, I enjoyed this event. I got to hold the United States of America on the flag.
That is great. As a Young Marine, what does Veterans Day mean to you?
It means to come out to certain places and honor the people who have served for our country.
Thank you for your time, Young Marine Lance Corporal.
You know, it's always an honor and a privilege to be able to speak at a Veterans Day event, and I was just so excited to have the opportunity to speak at the very first Spotsylvania County Veterans Day Marine Corps birthday celebration ceremony. And it was kind of exciting to be there because our very own Division II Sergeant Major was there at the ceremony with his unit.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, you were out there in the bleachers helping out. How was that? That was
Yes,
really
sir.
unique.
It was absolutely amazing. I had the opportunity to send my young Marines out there in the color guard. They were walking through looking absolutely outstanding during that parade. And we also had some amazing speakers just sharing the pride for our country and for the Marine Corps especially. It was just a truly incredible experience. Of course, as any Veterans Day celebration is, to hear from all these amazing people and hear all their amazing stories. It was
I'm feeling
truly
really good
incredible.
about that because I was one of the amazing speakers.
Yes, sir. That's right.
but it was a great event, and just a hats off to the sheriff for putting that together, bringing in veterans from all around the community there, south of Quantico, south of where our national headquarters are, and having our very own, Lance Corporal Caleb Powers unit there representing the Young Marines, just like you do at events all around the country. Thank you again for all of you adult volunteers and Young Marines honoring our nation's veterans.
So, for a lot of our Young Marines who may not know, could you explain to us what is a Rosie the Riveter?
Rosie the Riveter is a worker that worked in the military, or not in the military, in the factories during the war, World War II. I worked in the airplane factory, yes. That was my job. At Glen L. Martin Airplane Factory, we did a lot of the parts. I carried a lot of blueprints around for the parts for those airplanes. We had an airplane that we were building when I was there on the 3rd floor. We flew it right out of there. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. This is my personal coin. Thank you for taking the time to come share your story with these Young Marines and us too.
Yes.
This is awesome. One of the special things about our program that really just fills my heart with joy is the Young Marine support for the Toys for Tots program. On active duty in the Marine Corps, and supporting the reserves, and as a retiree, our family always supported Toys for Tots, and now it's so awesome to see my Young Marines family also support Toys for Tots. Across the country, great Young Marines out there with their adult volunteers, supporting the Marine Corps League, sometimes by themselves, supporting Toys for Tots, about giving back and making sure every child gets a toy for Christmas.
Hello, Young Marines. We just wrapped up the Pearl Harbor Remembrance Ceremony and Parade. Right over there is where I just gave a speech and had the honor to meet some more of the World War II veterans that were here on the events that transpired on December 7th, 1941. It was an amazing experience, not only getting to speak, but also hear the stories of the veterans that have that first-hand account.
Our program focuses on community service, drug demand reduction, keeping kids off of the cancer of today, which is drugs. But the cornerstone of our program and what we are founded on is veterans appreciation and honoring our veterans. What veterans appreciation means to me is never forgetting the names, the lives, the events, the battles, the war, the people that were involved in making America what it is today. Sacrificing everything that they can, putting their lives on the line, not because they have to, not because of personal gain, but because they want us to be safe. They did it, and they continue to do it so that we don't have to. That was instilled in me at a young age. And now on my way to the Marine Corps, soon to be Semper Fi, I'm gonna carry that with me for the rest of my life. The Young Marine program has provided me with that. And I think that there are no better mentors to have than those that are selfless, those that uphold the highest of moral virtues, and those that are honorable. The men and women that you see today, the men and women behind me that have effectively changed history and given me the opportunity to be in front of you today, standing here free with a choice of what I can and cannot do, which is up to me. For that to have happened, they had to sacrifice. And for that, I am ever in debt.
Afterwards, we got the amazing opportunity for around 120, 140 Young Marines from across the country to participate in the downtown Honolulu Pearl Harbor Remembrance Parade, where we carried banners, had a platoon of Young Marines being motivated, and ultimately there to honor those veterans from Pearl Harbor.
This is a great opportunity to take a moment to talk about an important word in the Hawaiian culture, aloha. Most of you know it means hello and goodbye. But more importantly on the island, it's about the spirit of aloha, about love, friendship, and fellowship. And we talked about that a little bit at today's ceremony. And service is about love and fellowship. And I think that's something you exemplify in your tour and we talk about a lot.
Yes, sir. Well, what really reminds me of that is the retirement of Young Marine Master Gunnery Sergeant Fung, who really just encapsulates that spirit. Always being friendly, always saying hello and saying goodbye, but also just having that loving atmosphere around him. That's what aloha reminds me of.
You know, and that is one of the biggest takeaways of the Young Marines program I hear often again, family and friendship. The spirit of aloha exists here on the island and throughout the Young Marines program as a whole. And that's really one of the things that makes it so special for me and for all of our Young Marines.
Absolutely.
You know, we just finished up a retirement ceremony for a special Young Marine Master Gunnery Sergeant Eric Fung. Eric, come on from behind the camera for a minute. Yeah, he's not mic'd up, but I just want to say again, when we talk about mentoring and leadership, this young Marine who I met my first year, 7 years ago here in Hawaii, the first day we came out and we did we did Hawaii News Network, and then we did Young Marine News. So he's on TV with me, first time out. And it's just been a motivator behind the scenes, leadership academies, other activities, but just one of those young Marines out there that's mentoring and guiding others to develop that next generation of leaders. So thanks for what all you've done. Super motivating, hoorah.
All the way from Hawaii, my name is Young Marine Sergeant Major Glasscox, your National Young Marine of the Year.
And I'm Young Marine Master Gunnery Sergeant Fung, or now Mr. Eric Fung.
Your National Executive Director, Colonel Bill Davis. Gentlemen, Mele Kalikimaka!